shorter than they are. Thank you, Ty. I want to really start actually by thanking these incredible public servants who've shown up today. As the Congressman said, the diversity of the group that showed up, I think, is a real testament to the public servants that serve in this county and our neighboring county every day. And as you saw, many of those individuals represent communities that struggle with their own hate, whether it be API hate, the hatred towards Black and brown communities. And as Ty said, it is so critical that we stand with each other every day and in every incident that we see. And so I want to thank them for being here, because it really means so much to us as a community to have every single one of you here standing with us. I also want to give a special shout out to one of those elected officials, in particular, DA Becton, who in her tenure as DA has been an incredible ally and partner to our community through every incident of anti-Semitism that we have seen and experienced. And I really wanted to acknowledge that she uses the full force of her office to ensure that our community is protected and is heard as we experience anti-Semitism in this county. So thank you, DA. Here I am. It was early 2017 when my grandmother and I were on the phone, our weekly call. She was 97. And she says to me, "Oh, I forgot to ask you something. When does your passport expire?" Well, that's a weird thing for my grandma to ask me. And I said, "I don't know, Grandma. I want you to go right now. I want you to tell me when your passport expires." She says with serious urgency. So I go, I'm like, "Okay, Grandma, hold on." And I find it, and I look, and it was within the year. And she said, I need you to get a new passport. And I said, "Grandma, I don't understand. I'm on it, don't worry." She knew me well enough to know that she'd have to bug me several more times. But when I said to her, "Why are you asking me this?" she said, "I came to this country in 1939. I've never been afraid until now." That is the reality that we are raising our children in. And I'm sorry that it chokes me up. I lost my grandmother 2 years later, at 98 years old. She was a survivor in every sense of that word. And about a month before I was elected to this office, we sat together, her beautiful long hands in mine, and we talked about what it meant, what her life had meant. Leaving the only home she'd ever known. What it meant to not believe that the country where she was born, where she was raised, would turn on her. The family members who thought it couldn't be possible. And the women, Jim said it was the women who knew that it was possible. And that if they were going to survive, they had to get out. And I stand here. And that's why I think Hineni is so powerful, against all odds, as your assembly member. In a time when it is so critical that I tell my story, and that they stand with us, and that every one of you stands up when we hear something, when we see something. Because on the night of Kristallnacht, both of my grandparents' families owned stores, when their stores were destroyed in Vienna, and they really understood it was time to get out. The death march hadn't started, but that's not how it starts. It starts with propaganda and hatred. It starts with making it an everyday occurrence so nobody says anything. And social media, and the man who used to occupy the White House, made that normal. And it can't be normal. But it is only not normal if each of us stands up every single time we hear it and say something. And so I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank JCRC for this effort, because it's hard to know what to do. I have the privilege of serving in Sacramento and having the power to do big things in the space. We have worked with the governor to start a Holocaust education program that will be implemented statewide to ensure every single California student learns and understands the Holocaust. I passed legislation that ensured that when people use hate symbols, and not just swastika, but also hate symbols against communities of color nooses, and the like, that we use the tools at our disposal to ensure those people are punished and those symbols come down. But you don't have to be an assembly member to be a part of this conversation. I'm looking at Naomi Greenstone, who before I was an assembly member worked with me to put messages of love out when messages of hate were passed out right here in Lafayette Park. Sometimes it's that simple. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing up. Because never again means we need to start now. We can't wait. So I appreciate your partnership in this.